Okay, here we are back inside the channel. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you're a return viewer, appreciate the view time. And if you're a subscriber and viewer again, thank you very much for stopping by. I hope the videos are helping. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about going ahead and hitting that bell for me. Would be really appreciated. Again, one more time, May 15th through the 19th will be the Gemvision Virtual Summit. So if you're interested, I'll post a link to the registration page. You'll need to register for each event that you attend or want to attend. And I, highly recommend you do so. It'll be all about the jewelry industry and the trends and everything else. A lot of information will be given out. So please stop by for that and check out the link. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to do some UV mapping. We're going to it's going to be pretty detailed video here on the mapping itself. So bear with me. There's going to be a lot of information here. And I'll try to take it slow when we need to, and then I'll try to speed up when I, kind of repeat things a little bit. So we have our shoe out here. There's a lot we can do. I'll bring this back maybe in the future for other things that we can show off of it and demonstrate from the rendering because there's a lot of tools I'm not going to go into. This will be pretty in-depth but pretty basic as well. But I have everything in different colors that I kind of want to add together. I'm going to take this one though and change it, I think, to this layer here. Yeah, so I have those. I'm going to put all those in one color. So I went ahead and kind of grouped everything together as far as color-wise, so it'll be a little easier for me to pick out. So let's get into this. As you can see, I went ahead and already loaded the Rhino toolbar in here. So I'm just going to get rid of that and show you how. And first I'm going to go over here and click off my dynamics and get rid of all that. And I'm going to go into my render studio, go to document details, and just get rid of the defaults real quick. Just don't want them to get in the way of this as we move along. Show everything as we do it. Okay. So first thing you need to do is go grab your toolbar. So type options down at the bottom. And then go to toolbars. And then I have mine on paneling tools right now. So I'll click to default. And then I'll just scroll down here to standard toolbar group 16. And just click there. And that'll bring up my toolbar. And you can always drop. If you have something up there you don't want, you can always drag it off and then click the X and it'll disappear, but you can always bring it back too. So I'm going to go ahead and dock this right up in here. And then I'm going to go to my options. That'll be this little multicolor circle there. And right now I have properties, rendering, materials, textures, and lights up there. You can drag these around however you want to place them in your toolbar up in your ribbon up here at the top. And if you don't have something, say my textures aren't there, right? So you can always drag these off too. So if my textures aren't showing up or none of these others, just properties is showing, what you can do is you can right click on any of them and it'll bring up a list, and then you just scroll down, find what you want, click on it, and it'll add it into your bar there. Let's put textures there. Let's put lights at the end. Figures. And I'll click off that, and I'll just right click and bring back my lights. Lights. There we go. Okay. So I have it kind of set up how I want it. So we'll go to properties to start. And now we're going to start doing some UV mapping. I'm going to set it up for the UV mapping first. So I'm going to do something that's maybe a little strange, but I want to see how it's going to be mapped out before I just start adding things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my materials and click there, and then I'm going to click on this little X to create a new material, and then I'm going to go to physically based material and click on that. And then down here, the detailed settings, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to click on base color. Okay, so I have my base colors on there, and then right here, click to assign. I'm going to go in here, click on that, and then down here at the bottom, choose from more texture types. Click on that, and maybe I did something wrong there. Maybe I didn't click on it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to click this 2D checker texture. Now, that's not necessarily the texture I want, but it'll give me a little idea as far as how this is all going to lay out. So I'm going to select everything, right click on my physical base material I just put out there, and then I'm going to assign to objects, which is all of them. Okay, and then you need to go to your render view to see the materials applied. And so there it is. It'll update automatically in the render viewport. So there's all my materials out there, and the 2D is basically showing me how the pattern will kind of lay out, like the repeat values of that pattern. And as you can tell, there's not a lot of repeat in there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and change some of that. So the first one I'm going to do is I'll just do the sole here. Click on that. Oh, I don't have anything on green. That's right. I don't have anything. So we'll start right here with this here. And what I'll do is go back to my properties here. And now I'll go to texture, and which is the 2D texture on there, right? And then I will click on lock, and then I will type in a value here. This one I'm going to kind of want a little high, so I'm going to put up like around 80 and see what it looks like. And it's pretty fine detail, right? You can kind of see it out there. You can see that these two are, well, let's click off of it. You can see we have a pattern going like, kind of like a half U here, and we have something going straight here, and we have kind of a larger and smaller going on up there. Now there's all kind of ways that we can manipulate this. The first one I'm going to do is go ahead, take this one here, and click on this one here, and I have two of them, right? And I'm going to go to my right viewport and click on render. So we have that out here. Now, right now, everything is set up to, let's see, let's go back to my materials. Everything is set up to, texture, yeah. Everything's set up right now to mapping channel 1, which is just like a plane mapping. And then it's projected on. So this plane is drawled out here, and then it's projected on. And since there's curvature here, those boxes are bigger here and they're smaller here, right? And these are all going straight down because it's pretty much a planar curve itself, or pretty close to it. So I need to adjust this a little bit, right? So I'm going to first go to change it to a box style and see what that looks like. That changes it all to a box style, which is probably maybe a little bit better for what I want. Let's go back to perspective. So I can change it to a box style. I can change it to world. This is more for like if there's a circle here, and then it's projecting everything up. So you can see the top of it is more square, and the sides of it are elongated because it's dragging those curves up like that. The screen is just basically using your screen as a UV map. And then the environment is like putting a circle around your item, right? So I'm going to go back to UV1 here, and then I'm going to go back to properties, and right here I can switch this individually, right? So I'm going to go back to my right view, and I'm going to change this one to a planar style and see what it does. And it kind of gives me my items out there straight for the most part. It's a little bit of curvature. Let's go ahead and just change this so you can see the difference. We'll change it to 20. And you can see it's kind of like that right there, right? So we'll change this back to 80 real quick, or 80. And let's see, we'll keep on moving down the line here. Let's choose the next. Let's go to a box style. And let's change those to maybe 50 and see what that does. Not a lot of change there. Let's change it to a 20. Yeah, 20 gives me a little bit more like this area here, right? So they're kind of going a little bit straighter and everything. So that's kind of what I want for those there. And now we'll come up and go, first we'll go back. I'll leave that like that one there. And now we'll come up and go to this one here. And this one's a little bit more difficult because it has, you know, more. But if we go to it and we put on sphere, you can see that we still have along. But you can turn on your widget here, right? Show mapping widget. This will be your widget. And you can drag your widget to see if you can get, and you can rotate it and everything to get it to where it's a little bit better. But you can see we still have those little U shapes right there, bigger up here, smaller down here. So that's probably not the one that I want. We probably won't be able to get it perfect. The best way to do is go in and unwrap it. That'll be a totally different video. There's a lot more in that since they're solids. So let's go ahead and do a box, four-sided, and we get a little bit better. Let's change that value here down to like around 30, see what it does. It's a little bit better lined up, so let's change it down to 20, and it kind of gives me a little bit closer to this pattern here. Right, so I'll just go ahead and take that, and in order to get rid of the widget, you'll need to go back, well, first select on your surface that the widget's applied to, and then just undo your widget there, and it'll get rid of your mapping widget. All right, and now let's do a little bit of with this back here. So let's take this one, and this one, let's try the sphere, and kind of, let's change that value and see what it does. Let's change it up to 100. Let's change it to, they're still kind of going up like that. Let's go to box, four sides, and see what that does. That's a little bit better. So let's drop this 100 down to like around 40. A little bit less, maybe like around 20. And it gives me a little bit closer to these right here, right? So that'll probably come out a little bit better. All right, so we have those set up. So you can, once you select it all, you can go in there and change it, but the original is kind of kept, so we can use that at a later date. The original mapping channel, which is 1. So let's select this one here. That's our blue. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And let's see, what mapping channel do we want here? We'll keep it on surface, and we'll lock it, and we'll change this one to like around 10. And we'll just a little bit see, and you can see it's kind of stretched out there a little bit. So let's check the mapping channel. Let's go to planar mapping. And no, that's not any good. Let's go to a box, four-sided. Yeah, that looks much better. Let's take that. And actually, let's just keep that. Maybe even drop it down a little, because we want that texture to be a little bit different than this texture. And then we'll just take that. Okay. Now what do we got next? That was this. Let's go to these here. And that'll be this. And this one's pretty easy. We'll go ahead and lock it. And then we'll change that mapping there to, let's say, 40. And I want it kind of close to, I think, this material here. So we'll bump that up a little bit more. We'll take it up to, let's say, 80. Let's keep it like that. That might give us a little bit different look in there. And I'll take that. So I'll just click off of it. Let's keep on moving down. So that was this piece. This piece here will be our bottom of our shoe, our tip, our heel, and our little piece right in here. And we'll change. Now we have different shapes here, right? That one's a big U. That one's kind of pretty much flat. This one we might have to go back in and do some adjustments. But let's go ahead and see what it does here. Let's type in 25. 25. And oh, I didn't lock it, so let's go ahead and change that back to 1 real quick, and then lock it, and now we'll change it to 25, and we'll keep that. We'll take it a little bit more. Let's take it to 80. See what that does. Okay, let's keep it at 80. And right here, you know, you can see we have a little bit of those going. These are all pretty much nice up and down. These are okay for the most part. And so this one here, let's go in and change that one to a box style, see what it does. And let's bump that count up, or down, rather. Let's take it to 60. That's not enough. Let's take it to 20. It's a little bit, you know, now we're getting those seams in there, which is, let's go to box, let's go to sphere, and then let's bump that up to around 50. And let's bump it up a little more. Let's take it to 90. Okay, and as you can see, we got a sphere going on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to take our widget, and then we're going to drag our widget up and then kind of get these in a little bit better order. And you can, like I said, you can rotate the widget to set it up however you want. But if you take it all the way, you can see that it'll put a circular area on your item. So you don't want to get that, but you can just drag it around. I'm going to keep it somewhere around here, I think. And you can also drag it different ways. Yeah, let's do this here. Still got those little U's going on a little bit though. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You can adjust it however you want. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's turn off our widget. And we'll just go ahead and take that. All right. So it's coming together. I mean, this is not going to be our shoe color, but just give you an idea. So that was this. And let's see, anything on purple? Okay, we have purple here. This one doesn't need to be so high, and it's pretty flat. So we'll just come down here and change it to maybe 40. Yeah, we'll just take that. And now what else? I think I have some on orange, our little metal pieces. These here for shoe holes, metal pieces. I'm going to go ahead and lock that, and we'll take that to like a 4. It shouldn't be any big deal for that one there. And then let's see, what else do I have here? Here. Oh, our shoe strings there. Or our stitching, rather. I'll lock that, and I'll change it to a 10. Yeah, okay. And then, what else do we have? Okay. Our shoestring. Trying to find that color there. Is this it? No. Oh, that's it. Okay. So we'll go back here. And this I want really kind of high repeat values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to go ahead and give it 100, see what that looks like. And now, as you can see, we got some good lines out there, really dense. But for some reason, these surfaces must be a little bit off. So I'm going to adjust them. I want it more to match where the other surfaces are. So I'm going to select this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and kind of get them a little closer to these two. So I'll just go ahead and change that repeat value a little bit. So 90, maybe 80. A little bit more, 60. That one looks okay. So let's click off this one here and this one and keep on working on these others. 40. Yeah, we'll just take that. Okay, so it kind of you can change everything individually, right? That's what's so nice about doing it this way. So here we have our shoe, and it's kind of Right? Okay, but this will help us out as we move along. So let's go ahead, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to materials. We're going to click on add, and we're going to add another. This time I'm going to take it for import from library, material library, and then I'll go to textiles, and then I will go to this dark blue fabric. There's tons in here. If they're showing up tiles or whatever, or just details, you can always change the size of them to get a better view over here. The extra large, it really puts them out there, so you can get all kind of views how you want set up. But I'm going to take this one here. Okay, and then this one I am going to, let's see, I'll just keep it like this, and then I'm going to select my entire shoe, right click on my material there. Well, first let's select my material there. Click on the shoe, the entire thing, right click on that, and I'm going to apply to those materials. And now we got a abomination out here. It's like, whoa, right? So what we're going to do is go back and kind of go through there, and we'll select those. This time we'll go to properties. We won't go to texturing or materials, we'll go to properties, right? And as you can see, we have all this going on, right? But right here at the top, some of the assigned materials are using the WC, which is the sphere, and different ways of mapping. So we want to try and get all those as close as we can, right? So let's select our whole item, and let's go ahead and see if it'll fix it automatically for us. And now you can see we have those patterns set out toward a little bit better with those texturing already on it, right? So it's a real quick way to get in there and kind of see where all that's at. So this one, these areas here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back and do a little manipulation. First thing I'm going to do, well, I'm just going to take all of them. This one here, and I'm going to change that repeat value. It's still using the mapping channels that I set for it, but they're all set to 1, so I should be able to manipulate all of them using this here, and not change that mapping channel. So I'm going to set it to, what was it, I think? Let's try 80. I want it pretty fine. And there's my material a little bit better, and actually, we'll take that. We'll take that as our material. Oh, I didn't select this one here. Let's go back. Select all those. This one did not change very much, which I want a little bit different. And I'll select this one here, and we'll go back and just bump this one up. Let's take it to 100. Okay, still not enough. Let's take it to 150. See what it does. And let's bump it up a little bit more. Let's take it to 200. And it's getting there. And we'll take it to, let's take it to 300, see what it does with that. And that's kind of a little bit closer to what I want, right? So these 4 areas are pretty close to the same now, right? With our texturing or UV mapping. Now, right away, let's just go ahead and get this contrast right in here. So we'll click on our blue, because I know they're on blue. And then we'll bump this up to, say, 50. And maybe not so high. Let's drop it down a little. Let's take it to 30. Yeah, there we go. So now we have a little difference right there in that. And if I had that stitching in there, that would look really pretty cool, but I didn't want to go through and do all that stitching. So we'll just keep on moving on. Let's take our next one here. So that was, okay, this one here. And this one I kind of want as close to this, I think, as we can get it. So I'm going to bump that one up to, say, like around 200. And maybe a little bit more. Let's take it to 300. And get it, it's kind of more like this right now. So let's take it to 500. Yeah, there we go. So it looks a little bit more like this area here, right? Okay, so that's good. And let's see here. All right, so we got this piece. Oh, these pieces here. Okay, these pieces I want totally different than this fabric type stuff here, right? So what I'm going to do is go to materials. I'm going to click on this icon or add, right? And then this time I'm going to do a physical based. And I'm going to add some things here. I'm going to add substance, not substance. I'm going to add base, and I'm going to add bump, and just in case, ambient. All right. And then right away, I'm going to go in here and, well, let's change our color first. So let's click on our base color here, and I'm going to want that black. Don't judge me for my pattern skills, please. And I'm going to click on this here and go from texture styles. And this time I'm going to pick on turbulence texture and hit OK. And I'm going to go back to my properties and go to my rendering or textures. Let's see, I want to go back to materials. All right, so I have this. I want to get, click on my material, sorry. That turbulence there, I want to take it and I want to drop it down into my bump map area right there. And it'll automatically click on, and now it'll put that on there. So what I'm going to do is check it out here. I will click it and put assign to materials. And now I have a bump map on my material, right? So that looks a little different. And this one here looks a little different, right? What I'm going to do is you have to go in and set it in the textures area, your texture. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that texture, let's say 25 times. Oh, let's bump it up. Let's bump it up to 500. And then I'll hit enter. And now let's take a look at our texture. So it's kind of just giving me a little frosty look, right? And that's kind of what I'm going for, or what I want, I think. All right, so we'll go back to our properties. We don't have anything selected, so nothing's going to show there. And let's keep working down. Let's take this sole here area, and what I'm going to do is go back to materials, add a material, go to physically based, and this time I'm kind of going to want, I think, whites. No, let's get rid of this one. Let's go, let's delete this one. Let's get rid of it. Let's add one, and let's just make it a plastic one, right? And I'm just going to assign that head on, just so we can keep moving on. So we got a little nice white contrast going there between our sole and our shoe. Like I said, don't judge me. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. So what do we got here? Yellow. Okay, so this one's the easy one. We're going to go in here and create a new material. Physically, no, we'll go to metal this time, and we'll just take that one and just go ahead and apply that, right? So now we have our little metal pieces going around there, which is pretty cool. And let's see, what was our strings on again? White? Yeah, white. Now this one we're going to do a little bit with. We're going to go ahead and get another material and from object, and like I said, don't judge me, okay? We're going to grab this right here, all right? And as you can see, it's kind of given us a little like squared off stringy look type thing. And we're going to take that, but we're going to do a little manipulation with it. We'll go to our texture area here, and we're going to, it's right now it's at 50. We're going to bump it up to say around 300, and now hit enter. And kind of, mapping size, not size. Oh, we want to change that to mapping channel 1. And now we're going to change it, let's say to 300. Oh, that's way too much. Let's back that down. Let's put in 100 and hit enter. And it's not really changing that. So let's go in here. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's type in here. Let's type in 100. There we go. Now we got a little more item out there, right? So let's go back and click on those. And let's go back to materials. And was that the blue tissue? Yeah, I think it was. And let's apply. A little too much, right? A little too dark, perhaps. So let's go back to our properties, and let's select on that those shoestrings, and let's change that down to around 50. See what that does, and see. Take a look here. I don't think there was any update there. Do I have the right material? Let's see. That is material. Texture. Let's go ahead and change it to 20. We're not getting an update here, so that means we're doing, let's go to, textures. That's our texture. Mapping 1. Repeat value. Let's put it up to 10. Hit enter. And there you can see we're starting to get something. Let's put it up to 100. Hit enter. 100's too much. Let's put it up to 40. Enter. 1,000, no, not 40. And let's hit enter. 40. Let's backspace. 40. Enter. Nothing really. So let's put it up to 100. Enter. Now I got 4,010. Let's back out of that. Put up to 400. Enter. What's the deal here? Select all that. Backspace. Let's put it at 200. And mapping channel. Oh, there we go. You can see it there. All right, let's take it down. Let's put it to 10. There we go again. Put it to 10. There we go. That's what I want. Yeah. Maybe a little bit less. Let's go in here. Let's put it at 2. Yeah, there we go. That's kind of the look that I'm kind of going for. Kind of a little different squared off look. But there you go. That's a quick way to do some mapping on all kinds of different things. And now there's, over here, this side looks really pretty decent for the most part. If you flip it over on this side, it actually lines up pretty good because we did the mapping pretty good. But that seam right there, usually sometimes you have to do some extra stuff. And then like right in here, we could fix that up, but we're not going to do that in this video. We will, I will show a little bit more in later videos using the shoe here. But if we go to our ray traced now, we can kind of get a look and see what it's really going to look like. And what you see right now is it's baking that texturing, baking that materials onto our shoes. So that's why sometimes it'll get a little funny looking. And if I go to properties, I can click on my star here and enable my denoiser, so it'll speed it up a little bit more. And right now I have it set at 1,000. I'll drop that down to just say 100. Hit enter. So we can kind of get a look out. Let's go ahead and put on some lights, our sunlight here. And so now we can really, that texture starts to show up a little bit more. And we can go back and adjust that texture too, so you can go back in there and adjust the texture. And if we go to rendering, we can click on our ground plane and use a material. We can go in here, we can click on here, and then we can click on our plus, import from library, go down here to our woods material, and there's all kind of wood in here. And I want something dark but polished, or we could do a metal, maybe. Let's go back. Let's do real quick metal. Let's do not textured, polished, and let's do a steel, platinum. All right, and so that'll add that platinum in there, and we'll hit, and you can adjust that color. So if you want it a little darker, if you can watch, it's doing it in real time. So we'll give it something like that just for the sake of this video. We'll hit OK. And now we have a little bit more unusual. And it has a great mirror image on it, and you can go through there and play around with those that plane to adjust the give it not so mirrory or whatever. But this is kind of how you do it, and it really the render engine for cycles is really awesome. It can really do a lot. You just have to be patient, learn the curve, and you can do a lot of really cool realistic renders out for your items and your scenes. So hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please hit like, subscribe, and leave me a comment and share the video. The more people that know Matrix Gold's render engine is not what they say it will be helpful to everyone, including the users. So thank you very much for watching, and if you like what you saw, please share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Good designing.